Okay.
Wow.
We'll take
Wow.
it. Let's just get right into it.
Are the Bills
my
still
goodness.
playing?
Oh, Lord.
What?
Well, keeping us on our toes, keeping us excited, much like the Arizona Coyotes have been this weekend at home at Mullett Arena, winning their second game this weekend in thrilling fashion. A Clayton Keller overtime winner, hat trick. You couldn't have written it any better. Lots to get into, but thank you all so much for tuning into the PHNX Coyotes postgame show, brought to you by the one and only DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button while you're watching this video, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and leave us a 5-star review. I'm Leah Merrill here with Steve Peters. Craig Morgan will be calling in from Mullett Arena shortly, but Petey, initial reactions to this one.
Again, this is a funny game. It's like almost a tale of two games, because there were periods where the Coyotes look really, really good, and then there were moments where they look really, really bad.
Yeah.
And I think they felt like tonight, you know what, we need to defend a little more. We haven't practiced it enough lately, so let's defend. Let's just turn the puck over and let's defend for another 5 minutes. Oh boy, that was scary. But I tell you what, the one thing that this team has done since the fourth game of the season is they just don't give up. They just keep coming at you, and they just keep working. And it's like we've said, it's always someone different. And I tell you, one of the things we talked about last game was Schmaltz and Keller finally connecting. Well, Keller's on a heater, and he was unbelievable tonight. Like he was sharp, and that shot, as we could see, is he can beat a goalie clean from the top of the circle. So he was fantastic, and you could see it on the players' faces afterwards. We talk about the tank and we talk about Bedard and all that. Players don't give a shit. Players want to win. Players want to win, and when you see guys working that hard for each other, that was exciting. And I will say this about the Mullett. I don't know when you watch on TV how many people are there, but it sure sounds loud. Like the atmosphere there is fantastic. So I think it must be a fun place to play in the Mullett. And now, don't look, Leah, they're above 500 at the Mullett, 3-2-1.
The home ice advantage is real, and we joked about it the other night and we can continue to joke about it. Coyotes are undefeated using the Annex locker room. Every team that uses the visiting locker room in the Annex can't win at the Mullett. We can just keep going with our fun stats. And staying on the subject of stats, let's check out tonight by the numbers, because the other night's numbers were absolutely crazy against the Bruins. Once again, the Flyers, 41 shots on goal. Again, 40 plus goal shots against the Coyotes. Coyotes, at least they got 29 shots on goal tonight versus the 16 from the other night. And another thing there is the Coyotes finally capitalized on the power play, and they had a perfect penalty kill tonight. Also, came out on top in the faceoff circle, something we haven't really seen much from them lately, and 28 shot attempts to the Flyers 25. So a little bit more even here. And as far as the Coyotes go, this is a pretty good look.
Yeah, and one thing, when you look at the shots on goal, I just wanted them to get 30. Like, can they get 30?
know.
Every team against them gets 30, 40, 40 plus. They've hit 30 mark twice in 26 games. Can they just do it again? Faceoffs, I think that, you know, it's a stat that they talk about as being important. I mean, it's nice when they win draws. It's the which draws are you winning that are important. It's the power play draws that's when it's important. I just want them to find a way to get more offense. And with 29 shots on goal, we got to say that's a win for this team. Getting 29 shots on goal. I mean, they're looking at 16 the other night, and below 20 is not good enough. So that was exciting, and that was good, and that's a positive. So when you look at the numbers, and the other one that I thought stood out for me, which I was really excited about, and I actually sent out a tweet mid-game. And I know you tweet all the time during the game. I just don't. It's not a thing. I tweeted during the game.
I was so proud of you.
How about that? And that was like, I wasn't prompted. No one told me to do it. They scored a power play goal, and I know Nick Ritchie played the other night, but he wasn't playing on the power play. Guess what? Somebody said he should maybe go out there again, and look what happens. And you know what? He was integral in that goal. He doesn't take the shot. He doesn't get an assist on the goal. Oh, he does actually get an assist on the goal, but he screens. He gets in front of the goalie's eyes, and he's been really good in that bumper position and being in net front in front of the opposing goaltender. And he gets out there again on the power play, and they finally get back on the board on the power play. So maybe with Keller heating up, the power play getting a goal, maybe this is going to be the start to something good on the offensive side of the puck.
Yeah, definitely, because we haven't really seen it from this team as of late. But just an absolutely thrilling game overall. What are you opening? A kilt lifter?
Yeah, a little kilt lifter.
You just blew on it?
Little ASMR. It's in the beer fridge, so it's a little cold. That was money right there. That was some ASMR.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Also, Sterling said, bring Zach Lind on every show and play Jimmy Eat Worlds before every faceoff. Will take home the cup. It is funny because they were playing Sweetness right before the Nick Ritchie goal. And I literally thought, oh my God, Jimmy Eat World, like the Coyotes have this in the bag. And seconds later, Nick Ritchie scores. Seconds.
We've said it all along.
Just saying.
Play the damn song.
Just play the damn
And I know
song.
they're all listening right now. I think they might be on their tour right now, but I'm sure they're listening to this like between sets or something. I don't know how that works.
Well, it's a tale of two games, like we said. PD, I think we should quickly spend maybe 2 minutes max just going over the negatives from this game so we can get it out of the way, and then we can talk about all the positives. The negatives, of course, being that every Flyers goal seemed to come off of a Coyotes turnover, whether intentional or not. Jacob Chychrun tripped and fell and gave up the puck. Valimaki was trying to clear it from behind the net and accidentally passed it right onto a Flyer stick. Turnovers continue to be an issue for this team. What other negative things stood out to you tonight?
It's the big one we've talked about all season, is the ability to keep the puck from the middle of the ice. And I think that I hate to keep saying it over and over again, but when they're inside their own blue line, they got to quit putting pucks through the middle of the ice. And I know the Jacob Chychrun was really unfortunate, but guess what? Move the puck. It's a 4-on-4 situation, and you've got Gostisbehere streaking. When two players come to you and it's 4-on-4, that means someone is open. So you got to give up the puck there. Now it's 3-on-2, so you got to get the puck up. And I wish you would have moved it quicker. I know it was unfortunate. It was a hell of a back check by the Flyers, and they make the nice play. But the turnovers are just occurring way, way, way too much. And again, the defending, when you turn the puck over, you defend more. When you defend more, you get tired. When you get tired, you give up opportunities, you make mistakes. And that's exactly what happened to this team tonight. So I'd like to see that get better. But the one thing, 0 for 2 on the power play were the Flyers. So two penalty kills that kill off tonight. That's not that big a deal for this team. Like, they do that in the first 5 minutes usually. So again, another positive. I'm going to say that there were definitely more positives tonight, and clearly they win. It's unfortunate that they had to lead and they had to give up that late goal, but it's a positive night. Better on the penalty kill, get a power play goal. Keller gets hot, and they overcome all of their mistakes with the puck and come out with a win. And that's back-to-back wins. Undefeated in December, undefeated in the Annex. I will keep saying it. And by the way, if you're keeping score in the Atlantic Division, they beat Boston and the Toronto Maple Leafs.
I love how you still tie that in, even though the Flyers aren't even in the Atlantic.
I know, but I want to talk about them every show. We're going to try to sneak in the fact that they beat the Toronto Maple Leafs.
I love it. And also a great thing from tonight was the Coyotes finally outshot their opponent in a period. It happened in the first period. They outshot the Flyers 13-9. That was the first time they'd done that since the Nashville Predators game on, I believe, November 21st. So it's a long time coming. Unfortunately, Philadelphia kind of fought back on that one, and by the third period they had outshot them 13-5 in the third, and you felt that even in the overtime, which, by the way, wasn't really that eventful until the final 2 minutes there. As far as 3-3 overtimes go, it felt like the Flyers had all the pressure, and I was thinking, the Flyers are going to win this game. And Clayton Keller said, hold my beer, hold my kilt lifter.
Exactly.
I got you. And before we get into all the positives that we want to, because there are many, PD, let's go over your keys to the game and see how this team did tonight.
I noticed people said this on Twitter too. We might as well just put out good goaltending, penalty kill, and then a grab bag for number 3. Chychrun. And let's talk about Chychrun really, Mike, because he had the 4-game point streak. He did not get to keep that alive tonight, which is too bad. But again, he got 6 shots attempted at the net tonight, 4 on goal. Seemed like he had the puck a lot. He was defending better.
He assisted on the Keller winner. According to NHL.com, they took it away.
Yeah, it's Keller from Schmaltz. That's how it ended.
Boo.
Yeah, sorry.
But still says
he doesn't
it
get
on
the point.
NHL.com.
He doesn't get the point. But shots were there. I thought he defended better, and even with the 4-on-4 play, still ends up even. So again, Jacob Chikrin's even, and this is a guy that was running away with the minus of this team last year. So I think he's getting better every time he gets on the ice. Every game he gets a little better. He just needs to find a way to hit the net on some of these missed shots, because I think he might be able to find the back of the twine a few more times. Home cooking, rolling at the Mullett, like we already talked about that. Undefeated at the Mullett, 3-2-1, above 500. Things are going great. Crowd's great. Annex is great, so that's good. No penalties. Hey, 13 goals against in their last 7 games while they were shorthanded, and that didn't happen tonight. They were able to escape killing off both penalties that they took. So I would say they took the keys and ran today. That was
I'm so proud, because they've been tending to not do that lately.
Maybe they got a new thing in the annex where I would think, but just because they probably have our keys scrolling.
Yeah, they just have like our Twitter feed,
Yeah.
and it just refreshes.
Of course.
Why wouldn't they?
Exactly.
Exactly. Well, let's not bury the lead here, as we have already. Clayton Keller hat trick, absolutely unbelievable. Clayton Keller hadn't what?
I'm gonna apologize, because I read in the chat my fantasy league is still showing. I went back to the final score sheet and they just added it. So
there you go. I knew I wasn't crazy.
It's now in the official score sheets.
There you go. The key. Perfect.
Yeah. So I apologize for giving bad news and a bad scoop. He ends up with an assist.
Amazing. So keeping the point streak alive. Love it.
That's
and raising his trade value in the process.
Sorry, Chick. That's totally on me.
Okay, it's all good.
I know he's listening. Do you think he's in his car right now on the way to Old Town right now, buzzing, just dialed right into the PHNX postgame show? I'm sure he is.
Absolutely. Well, I hope Clayton Keller is, because we're about to give him his flowers. What I was saying, Clayton Keller hadn't scored a goal since November 17th, quietly. And we've used the word quiet a lot to describe Clayton Keller's season. Still productive point-wise, still productive, skillfully, but tonight he scored his 8th, 9th, and 10th goals of the season, coming closer to Lawson Krause, who right now still leads the team with 12 goals. But this is what you want to see from your offensive star. This is what Clayton Keller gets paid to do, and he did it in amazing fashion tonight.
Well, and I want to say this too, because as we know, this is all about me. When Keller did the first inaugural walking and talking, I didn't want to tell anybody this, but he didn't score much after that. And I was very concerned. Yeah, the streak stopped, and he stopped scoring. Oh, shit. Now what? Then Schmaltz does it, and guess who didn't score after that? So I started to get worried that, oh, no, they're not going to let me around anymore. There's no more walking and talking. But guess what? He is on a heater. So my guess is that might help guys line up, and maybe somebody else will want to walk and talk next time. So I was a little worried about it, but he's shown us over and over again, Leah. He's a skilled hockey player. He's really good hands. He can make good plays. He looks for those passes. He can make that sauce pass through, but when he shoots, he is a threat to score. And we talk about it, his ability to get to those areas where guys can score between the hash marks in the slot area. When he can get there, he's dangerous. He just has to be more consistent in getting to that area. And this season, I think he's finally getting it, that he's got to get there to score. He was great tonight. Like he was really good, and he was fired up in the game. And I talked about his emotions, the way he looked after the game. One was a sense of relief because it's his first hat trick, but he was fired up. And I think everybody was just happy for him, the way his teammates received him. So that says a lot about what kind of player he is in the room. I'm thrilled for the kid. And now let's just hope he can continue to do that as this team moves along through the next couple of weeks before the holidays.
Absolutely. That breakaway goal on his second goal was unbelievable. That amazing pass from Nick Schmaltz. And you could just, that when you talk about the chemistry that they have, it's that anticipation of that. Like Clayton Keller saw Nick Schmaltz get the puck and was like 2 steps ahead, ready to anticipate that pass. That was what was really cool about it, is you can tell. And that's what's so cool about Clayton Keller too. He just thinks the game faster, and that's what makes him so skilled.
And that was the other thing we didn't mention too on that particular play. What a play by Schmaltz! Like he led him with that pass. It would just it's a flip to space. He just got it way out, and Keller wins the foot race. That's a hell of a play by Schmaltz. And those two just play well together. They just get each other. They have great chemistry, and I thought that was again apparent in tonight's game. So let's hope they stay on it. Let's hope they stay fired up. I mean, I
Yep.
think they're fun to watch, and even if they're going to take some losses over the next few weeks, if you get individual performances like this, then you want to continue to watch. You want to see guys have success. You want to see guys play well. So I was really happy for Clayton Keller. And you know what? Now it's going to get a little bit of a duel between him and Krause for who's going to lead in goals. And I tell you what, that's going to be a hell of a race, because I think that's going to be something now. Krause is going to have to get back on the board when they head to San Jose on Tuesday.
I love it. Why not? By the way, everybody talking shit about my Christmas tree in the chat.
Charlie Brown.
It's in the background, so you can't see the details, okay? But
I'm sure it's lovely.
It is lovely, Petey. Staying on the positive, let's go ahead and crown our draft. Why is everybody talking shit? Stop talking shit about my tree. All right, let's crown our DraftKings King of the Game. This one is obvious for the second game in a row. It's King Kel's Clayton Keller for scoring his first ever National Hockey League hat trick, which is a crazy stat to me. I would have thought he would have had one already, but I agree. Very, very happy for him. He deserves it, and it was really cool that it happened at home, and it was the first Coyotes hat trick this season and the first ever hat trick at Mullett, I believe, unless I'm mistaken, but if not, then the first ever Coyotes hat trick at Mullett. So really cool to see the hats raining down on the ice there as well. So congratulations.
Did you see the first hat that hit the ice? And
it was a Flyers hat.
It was a Flyers hat. That was ironic. I thought it was really neat.
I know.
First hat on the Mullett is from the visiting team. Big surprise there.
Yeah. Well, I hope that if you were using the DraftKings Sportsbook app tonight, you took Clayton Keller like over a goal, maybe over half a goal at the very least, because you would have won yourself some money on there. NFL all day today. PD, did you have any NFL bets in today?
No, and thank goodness I stayed away.
You were a college football fiend.
Yeah, but
we're
not talking about the NFL today.
Okay, that's fine. We will not do that. But
the Detroit who?
Yeah. Anywho, I hope that you all won some money today. And if you want to win some money in the future, you can do so by downloading the DraftKings Sportsbook app now, signing up with the promo code PHNX, place a $5 pregame moneyline bet on any NBA team to win their game. I'd stay away from the Suns for now. It's a little rough for them. The Coyotes are somehow the winning team right now, and the Suns are losing. Not sure where that all went wrong,
but in the upside down.
But get $150 in free bets if the team you bet on wins. That's code PHNX only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. PD is sipping on his Kilt Lifter. I was drinking some Golden Lager earlier. We love our Four Peaks beer, and Clayton Keller deserves to have some celebratory brews later, and I hope somebody gifted him the Four Peaks advent calendar, because inside for just $55 there are specialty beers, tall boys, and more. You can purchase that at their 8th Street Pub in Tempe. I know we're midway through the month, so you get to buy it and then drink all the beers so far, and catch up and drink some of the really cool and unique beers in that box. So as always, you must be 21 or older to drink and enjoy responsibly. I see you reading the chat. Do you have comments from the chat, or?
No, they're just. I'm surprised at all the treat comments, but I did laugh at someone. Someone said, Sterling said that the Flyers fans are in shambles. Absolutely poverty. When somebody else calls another franchise a poverty franchise, I just have to smile, because we've been labeled that for so long.
Yeah,
it's nice when somebody else gets it, and that's what sucks about losing to the Coyotes, because you know you're going to get hammered like that. Like, you were supposed to win, and you don't.
That's what makes it fun, especially to win. And listen, it's fine, they can have their 2 wins, and especially to win against an East Coast team. Like, if the Coyotes win against, I don't know, I hope the Coyotes lose to San Jose on Tuesday night, just for standings purposes, because San Jose, to win against these East Coast teams, it just feels good. It just feels real good.
I don't think the Coyotes get their flowers there. They just don't. Like in the East Coast, it's just everything. If they're even, by the way, they're not watching because it's late and they're all in bed. Everybody on the East Coast is literally in bed right
8:23. It's not everyone's on the PD bed schedule.
Exactly. So it's 10:30 back on the East Coast, and people in New York go to bed really early. So everybody's in bed on the East Coast, so they never watch. They only get to watch when there's a problem at the city council, or there's a problem at the arena. Then they go, oh shit, there's something going on in Arizona. When they're winning 2 in a row, you don't hear much coming out of the East Coast.
That's okay. That's why we're here.
Bias.
Yep,
Southwest
that's why we're
bias.
here, and that's why we literally sell a shirt in the PHNX locker that says Southwest bias. So I stand by that. Craig is on his way up. We'll see how long the elevator takes him tonight, unless he opts to take the stairs, which I would recommend, but we'll see when he gets here. Before he does, there's another player I want to talk about. Well, there's two, but we might get to one with Craig. Jack McBain also, and to quote Tyson Nash, found the back of the net tonight. It was his 4th goal of the season. He has 2 goals over the last 3 games after he only had 2 through the first 23. So great to see Jack McBain. He also had some big hits tonight. So, he's been somebody who's looked much better as of late.
He led all players on both teams with 7 hits, the most physical guy out there. And I got to say this, for a guy coming out of college, one thing you get concerned about is his ability to play physical in this league. I don't care what size you are. When you come from college, it's just a different game than it is in the Western League or in Canadian juniors. And sometimes guys get labeled as, oh, he's a college kid, he can't play tough. Well, this kid can play tough. He plays physically. He's first guy in on the forecheck. He plays hard along the wall. He crashes the net hard. He plays like his size dictates. I mean, he's a good physical power forward. And you know what? I don't know if this is what we expected when we saw him coming out of college. We said, maybe a year in the American League. But I tell you what, he's another guy that just gets it. He competes incredibly hard when he's on the ice. And when you talk about his hits and his ability to get to the net, he's going to provide offense because he does those 2 things well. He's a guy you want to root for, and he's a guy you definitely want to have on your team. So, but we talk about the rebuild all the time, and when you get through the other side of the tunnel, there's guys like Jack McBain that you want to have on your team. So I think he's one of those pieces that may survive this as this continues to be rebuilt.
Absolutely. So great to see Jack McBain get on the score sheet tonight, and Nick Ritchie, who sat out for 3 straight games. He had a really great start to the season and then kind of dropped off and was sat healthy scratch, but made it back into the game and scored. It was his 7th goal of the season, his first goal since November 5th. Talk about a monkey off your back and just the relief for Nick Ritchie tonight.
Yeah, and he's getting his points. I mean, 2 points is great, goal and assist. You look at his time on ice, and he's sitting just under 10 minutes, which is rare for him. He was a guy that was pulling 15 plus when he was higher up in the lineup. I don't know if that's attributed to his being out of the lineup for so long, and he's going to take a little bit to get back in it. But I thought he looked much better tonight than he did the last game. I think he's starting to get his feet underneath him again after missing a few games. He's a guy that needs to provide offense for this team. He led the team in goals for the first few games. He needs to provide secondary scoring for sure. And I think that's going to come if they can keep him on the power play. So we'll see what happens with him. But you're right. It's exciting to see him get back into it and be a part of the offense and get on the score sheet. And he's another guy that adds that physical elements. You're seeing that from him, O'Brien, McBain, Fisher, Krause.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with this team. I mean, you even saw Krause got into it earlier. You saw Josh Brown drop the gloves today. And this is a tough team. And I think teams around the league are going to start to understand that the more they play.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time since you can say that about a Coyote team. They get pushed out of buildings. They get run over by teams. And I think Bill Armstrong's made that a mission here, because I think there was a period of time over the last decade where you go, oh, shit, we get pushed out of a building. And honestly, there is nothing worse than watching your team get pushed out of a building. You can lose, but if you get pushed around, that's tough. You've got to be able to at least have something you can push back with. And I think they have that now. So they can win on the scoreboard, and they can also push people around on the ice. So I think that's only going to continue as this Bill Armstrong team gets to build with bigger and stronger players.
Absolutely. Well, it's time to welcome in Elevator Craig. Did you take the elevator or the stairs?
Took the stairs tonight.
There
stairs
you go. It is faster. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it is faster.
Wait for the elevator.
Well,
and the lighting is better tonight too.
I don't. No streaks. Did you wipe your camera?
Off.
No, I have no explanation for it. Like literally no difference. I'm at the same level. I'm in a suite again. I have no idea why I don't have Disco Craig going tonight, but I'm kind of happy about it.
That was the Friday night vibe. This is the Sunday.
Maybe that's right.
Vibe.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah, you're probably right.
All right. Well, so we're happy to welcome Stairmaster Craig then. Craig, I know you spoke to Clayton Keller and Nick Ritchie, who we just spoke about. Any good comments from them after the game?
Well, first of all, Nick Ritchie's a lot faster from his own blue line in than I thought he was, because that's where he got the puck on the breakaway, and he stayed on a breakaway. And I told him that. I was like, honestly kind of surprised. You're a little faster than I thought. And he goes, oh, so you didn't think I was very fast?
Okay, so Craig and Ritchie have beef now.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny, actually. But yeah, listen, he was out of the lineup for 3 games. We talked about this on the last show. He's got points in back-to-back games now, getting back to the game. I'm sure Petey just talked about his physical side as well, bringing that to the table. That's what Andre Tourigny wants to see from him. Message delivered, and he's producing again. They need Nick Ritchie to produce because let's not be shy about saying it. They want to trade some guys at the trade deadline or sooner and acquire more draft assets. He's one of those guys, but he's got to produce to do it. And here he is back on the score sheet the last 2 nights. So that's good to see. But then flip it over to Clayton Keller. He hadn't scored in a long time, guys. And it's still amazing to me that he hasn't had a hat trick in his career before tonight. But one thing that, that we took away from the post-game interview tonight, we've always known this. Petey, you know this because you were around that room. Rick Tocchet always talk about Clayton Keller as being a student of the game, watches a lot of video, wants to learn. Well, he talked about his first goal where they saw something. They saw a tendency in the way the Flyers PK was rolling. So they made an adjustment that led to that goal. And then on the game-winning goal in overtime, he said he had just tried that play where he had dropped to Nick Schmaltz, and he saw the way that they reacted to it, so he decided to fake that, and he kept the puck. I asked him if he was thinking shoot the whole time, and he said, yeah, I was, and he wins the game with 22.4 seconds left. Clayton Keller continues to produce, but it's good to see him maybe shooting a little more, thinking of shooting a little more, taking on more of a goal scorer's mentality. We have to remember this guy was off for a very long time with a broken leg. Andre Tourigny said after the game, he's playing a different game than he was earlier this season. He's got more pace. He's more aggressive. He's thinking like a goal scorer more often. So who knows where Clayton Keller goes from here, but a hat trick tonight. That's a big one.
And that's what we said, too. We talked about him and Krause now getting in a little bit of an internal battle in the locker room. And that's going to be fun to watch because I think they're going to drive each other. Because when you talk about Keller and you're starting to see that, it's almost like a little twinkle in those goal scorers' eyes. When they're around the puck and they've got an opportunity to shoot and score, they are on it. I watched Ovechkin today, and you see when that puck gets anywhere between those 2 dots, he is on it like a dog on a bone. Like, it is unbelievable to watch those guys get to the puck. And I think Keller's starting to get a little bit of that in his game right now. Instead of looking, hey, where can I pass? It's, oh, I'm going to take a shot here. I'm going to try to score. So I think that you're going to see now, I told this to Leah, I think Krause is going to get into the next game going, yeah, okay, you think you can score? Well, maybe I can score too. I think that little internal battle in the locker room pushing each other is going to be a great thing to watch over the next few games.
Yeah. Yeah, and Krauser just missed one tonight. He got in alone and just fired it. He was aiming for just inside the elbow and just missed it, or he would have had his 13th tonight. So, it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch a couple of guys that we think are a key part of their core excelling right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And another guy whose stats kind of flew under the radar tonight, given the hat trick and Ritchie getting on the score sheet, was Christian Fischer, assisted on the Jack McBain goal. Christian Fischer has 5 points in 6 games in December. We've talked a lot about Christian Fischer already on the show, but he's continuing to be productive point-wise.
Yeah, ain't gonna lie. If there's ever a player that I'm just gonna openly root for, it's Christian Fischer, because we all love him so much. He's a friend of the show. Petey, by the way, he is locked in on being the next walking and talking subject.
Okay,
he is over prepared for this right now. I told him, with you, Fish, we might just call it talking because you'll just talk the whole time.
But okay,
I'm fine with that.
2 things here. First, Petey just talked about how every time he's had a guest on Walking and Talking, they've dropped off in point production.
Yeah, so we're going to say that.
So he might want to hold off because he's been good.
But it takes a week. It's like a week long effect. It's got to grow. And then look at Keller now. Boom.
Yeah, that's true.
So Schmaltz is next.
So that's what it is. It's like you're planting a seed, it's got to grow a little bit, and then they take
Schmaltz
off.
is next. Look at Schmaltz over the next 2 games.
That's good spin. Ignore the drought that you're in right now.
Because it's coming.
It's coming.
And that's what I'm going to tell the Fish dog. He's coming.
And you and Fish are going to have to walk to the car, back again.
I know it's going to be a long walk. I tell you what, though, we say this about Christian Fischer all the time. We like to see him get rewarded because he's a good kid. And when you see him on the ice, he fights for his teammates. He works hard. Every shift he leaves everything on the ice. And when guys do that, you root for him. And that's honestly, That's this team right now. This team isn't quitting. They're not giving up, whether they're ahead, behind, whatever. They're just keep playing the same way, and they work hard. And when a team works hard, it's easy to root for them. I don't care who they're playing or how they're doing on the ice. They just keep playing. And last year, we didn't see that. Last year, they get down by 2, and you go, shit, they're going to be down by 4. If they get behind in the first period, well, this one's over. Well, you don't feel like that anymore. And I think that's contagious among this group, that they just keep working.
Guys,
Absolutely.
I don't know if you talked about this already, but one of the things that I asked all three, Andre and the two players about, I'm kind of amazed, and I'm not saying they played a perfect game, and Philadelphia is not a great team. They're obviously having their own struggles, but the Coyotes just came off a 14-game road trip. It's been, I mean, we had the map. They were all over North America. They got in at 3:30 a.m. We know that, so they barely had any time to prepare for that Bruins game. I'm amazed that this team is finding any energy right now. They've won 2 straight games at Mullett Arena, and honestly, I expected the opposite. I expected a lag effect from that trip, and here they are. They've won 2 games, and they're over 500 in this building.
Craig, you're in that building, and we can only suppose what the atmosphere is like when we watch it on TV, and it does sound louder. And is there an atmosphere there? I mean, do the players feel that? Do you think? I mean, is it louder than what you're seeing at Glendale? Is there more of an atmosphere than you saw in Glendale?
Yeah, there definitely is, and the size of it matters because obviously it's a small crowd, but with the low ceiling and everything, we knew the acoustics of this place were just going to be better. It was going to be a fun environment for them. Look, if you're going to have a small crowd, you might as well be in a small building. They're trying to build towards something bigger. Obviously, we know this town. This is, hate to say it, this is a bit of a fair weather town, and that's okay, actually.
And a
People
transplant town, too.
Yeah, but people deserve to spend their money on what they want. They deserve to spend their money on a good product, and that's the goal in mind here. But for right now, it's crazy to say it, but I think this might be a better setup for them than Glendale because there is atmosphere. The players have talked about it. Visiting players have talked about it. I don't know if you guys rolled the tape of Torts yet.
No, I was going to get to that in a second.
He talks about that as well. The visiting players are talking about how it's a kind of a cool atmosphere, and it's an adjustment for other NHL players coming into a place like this. It's unlike any other NHL arena they go into.
Yeah, absolutely. And the home ice advantage is proving to be true. They've played 6 games now at Mullett. They've won their last 2. And Craig, earlier today, you had the opportunity to chat with Philadelphia Flyers head coach John Tortarella, who said that this is stuff he's hearing not just being in Arizona. This is in another city. So let's hear what John Tortarella had to say earlier today.
I talked to a player from Boston yesterday. We were in the same practice arena yesterday out in Vegas, and he said he had a blast playing here. It was full of emotion. I guess there were some brawls up in the stands.
Yes, there were.
That's hockey. So anxious to go through it with our team, and more importantly, just focus on us trying to be the best we can be.
Wow.
Can I just say this about Torts? I know people have an impression of John Tortorella based on what they see maybe in quick video clips. This guy, like, I've had the chance to talk to him a lot of times. John Tortorella is like my favorite uncle. I just love talking to the guy. He's this warm human being. Nobody sees this. He's this warm human being. He's an unbelievable interview, incredible insights. I think this will probably be a surprise to a lot of people to hear this, but if I had the chance, if he were the coach of the team that I was covering, I'd be ecstatic because I'd know that I was going to get great stuff from him all the time. So, I know there's a different impression of John Tortorella out there, but I just love the guy. And I know there was more of the tape that wasn't really relevant, but I wish I had more time to talk to him. I was just getting out of another interview and I got there for the tail end of it, but he's just always fantastic to talk to.
Yeah, and one of the things too, first of all, the Tortarella effect was real in Philadelphia. When he got there this season, they were off to a great start in this team. With this team, the reality is they're just not very good. And right now they're going through some growing pains and some aches, losing their captain last year, and they're still a ways away. But I tell you what, the one thing with John Tortorella as a coach, you know exactly where you stand. And people give this, like you said, Greg, like he's rough and tough. He's not. He's just honest, and he's honest to a fault. He's honest on air. He's honest to reporters. And he's honest to his players. If he doesn't like the way you're playing, guess what? He's going to tell you. It's not like, oh yeah, you're okay, and it's no. You're not playing good. You're not going to play. And a lot of people forget, and I know there are Coyotes fans that forget, he started off here. Like, he was an assistant coach of the Arizona Coyotes with Jim Schoenfeld back in the 90s. He was the first coach I worked for.
That is a fact that I don't think a lot of people know, because I don't think I even realized
that.
He
worked for me. I mean, he was the first coach I worked for back in 97. Like, he was, and when Craig said, he's like, he might be in this, people won't believe it, might be one of the nicest guys I've ever worked for. He is unbelievable.
He is. He really is.
He cares about what happens off the ice, and he cares about your family. And it's not just bullshit. It's not just, oh, well, how are they doing? No, he cares. Like, I see him, even if I see him now and I haven't seen him for a decade, it's, hey, how's your son? How's your son doing? What's going on with your son? And he's amazing. What a human being. But he's just honest. And sometimes people don't want to hear honest. People don't want to hear honesty.
He's getting a lot of love in the chat right now. And his comment of "that's hockey" just
I'm also going, I have decided I'm going for the next show, I'm going sweater vest. I clearly it's a hell of a look, and I'm going for it.
All right, you're gonna rock that. Okay. We'll see. Okay. I'll judge that one when I see it. He's, you mentioned his honesty, Petey. He's honest with reporters, as you said. Yeah, that rubs some guys the wrong way. I have been in some of those press conferences. Like, I'm sure everybody saw the one recently where it was like, guys, you're asking bad questions. And I've been in a lot of those press conferences where he'll say something like that, and I'm like, yeah, he's right. Actually, these are bad questions coming right now.
Hey, but I'll say this: behind the scenes, there are coaches, Craig, and of course not to you, but there are coaches that come into the locker room after those press conferences and goes, God, those questions were stupid. Like, what are they asking me? And like, they don't say it to your face. Not you, Craig. Again, not you. They don't say it to the reporter's face like John Tortarella does. They come in the room and complain about it after the fact. So he's just telling the truth, man. It's just honesty.
Yeah,
love it.
I'm sure some coaches have said that about me too.
No, Craig, not you, buddy.
Craig could never ask a bad question. Come on,
exactly.
Craig. I know you have a dinner to get home to that you
chicken and waffles. My daughter texted me like, "We're making chicken and waffles. When will you be home?" Like, as soon as possible.
So we'll
we went to overtime and almost a shootout. I was thinking,
Thank God, Clayton Keller had your back there for real.
Yeah.
So any final thoughts from you before we let you get home to your chicken and waffles?
Just really excited to dive into another deep piece with Petey. We're going to dive into Karel Vejmelka. That's coming soon. That was the other interview I had tonight, was with Corey Schwab. We talked for a bit. Going to get Karel and Andre Tournier tomorrow. Probably going to talk to Karel's agent as well. But Petey and I are going to do another collab. Should run on Tuesday morning if all goes well for us. Looking forward to that.
That's assuming I get all my shit done tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Me too.
Don't hold your breath, buddy.
Love it. All right, Craig. Well, we'll let you get home to your chicken and waffles. Enjoy.
All right, guys. See you.
All right. Bye.
See you, Craig.
Oh, man.
Did you see the thing in the chat about Chicago and I'm doing a mid-season check-in with the CHGO folks? Remember the big preseason one? We sat there and it was like a finger pointing thing. We're worse. No, we're worse. No, we suck more. Well, right now they do suck more. So.
Yeah. That could be interesting to do. We will definitely look into doing that. Petey, you and I are both at home tonight. I will say it's not as much fun for me watching the game when I'm not in the more furniture recliners. I was sitting in my very uncomfortable kitchen chair that is not more. So I think I need to go out shopping right now at More Furniture, because I know they have a big sale going on right now. Holiday clearance event. You can save up to 50% off. I think we need some new chairs here because
can I have a recliner as my desk chair? Is that a thing?
I mean, why not? Because it sits up until you want it to recline.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. It's not the same.
So I'm gonna look into that seriously, because sitting here all night made me rethink everything with that. And Craig mentioned Veggie at the end, the story you guys are working on. He's been a huge part of the reason. Obviously, Friday night we talked about him a ton, but he was great again tonight. And Jack McBain even said in the second intermission, like, Veggie was keeping them in the game. And his game maybe was a little bit more underrated tonight because there were so many other big things that happened. But that one toe save, I forget which period that was in. I think the beginning of the third. Unbelievable save by Veggie. He's been phenomenal. So we can talk more about him in a second. But what I want to tell you is if you're on Underdog Fantasy playing the Pick'em game and Karel Vejmelka higher than whatever save line they give you on Underdog, take the higher right now because he's facing a lot of shots. And like he told Greg the other night, he's kind of relishing in it. So that's a fun one to take on Underdog. And right now, Clayton Keller's been hot. Chikrin's been hot. He's on that point streak. All of these things, higher, lowers, you can play them in the Underdog Fantasy Pick'em game. You can also play daily fantasy with different slates of the NHL games. You can play it with other sports besides just NHL. So check out Underdog Fantasy. It's super fun. It's super easy to use. And right now, when you sign up with the promo code PHNX, Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100 so you can play with free money. Go to underdogfantasy.com or download the app, and that's promo code PHNX when you start to play. It's a lot of fun. Very easy to win money.
We talk about the higher and lower saves, and Karen said something, our friend Karen, which we haven't seen for a while, like because we haven't had a meetup for a long time, but Karen said she was surprised to see that he started tonight. And we talked about how he does better when he gets rest. Well, what they did after they played the Boston Bruins, they took the next day off. And a lot of times in the morning, they do a morning skate today. Guess what? Didn't have a morning skate today. So they went game to game. And when you go game to game, you get that opportunity for your body to recover and rest and sleep. And so I think that's one of the reasons why they went back with Veggie again tonight. And I would anticipate with them going Tuesday night in a different time zone. That's a little bit later. I would anticipate to see Veggie again because they've got a back-to-back coming up on the weekend. So I would think that that's next time you're going to see Connor Ingram sometime this weekend on that back-to-back.
Definitely. PD, before we look ahead, do you have any other notes from tonight's game?
No, you know what, Leah? I just want to talk about how impressed I was with this team and their effort and their continual never give up attitude and the way they're all working together. They're fun. And I thought there was a moment in the second period where I go, uh-oh, they're in trouble. That's when they were turning the puck over. That's when they're hemmed in their defensive zone and they're giving up shots and chances. And I go, this could be it. Like Philly could run away with this. And all of a sudden the momentum shifted again. And it's just because they kept working at it. And I know without Vejmelka, they don't fight through those little spells where they struggle. And that has been the difference. And I get that. And I know they're relying a lot on their goaltender, but they're not quitting either. So again, Keller's hot. Ritchie's back on the ice looking good. Schmaltz and Keller together, a dynamic. Veggie is still hot. And Chicka boom. Back. That's 5 straight games now for Chick with a point. He keeps that up. He won't be here long. And he might be spending Christmas somewhere else.
Wow. Well, we'll keep close tabs on that. And this is just our reminder that the Coyotes beat the Boston Bruins on Friday night. Boston beat Vegas tonight 3-1. Boston is first in the NHL. Vegas is 4th. But the Arizona Coyotes, who are down there with that bottom group, beat Boston. Just had to throw it out there. It just makes me happy.
Did they beat Toronto too?
I think they did, Petey. I really think they
Just
did.
checking.
So that just helps me sleep at night. You know, I have to remind myself of that. And big news for the tank. And I know we've been talking about a win all night, but Columbus won tonight in overtime. That was a crazy game, 6-5 win over LA. So anytime those bottom teams can get a win, it's a big for the Coyotes, especially if the Coyotes are going to get a win as well. And every time the Coyotes go to overtime or a shootout, I always think just at this point, just win, because make it a morale boost instead of taking an unnecessary point. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So.
and the other thing too is we keep seeing this too, and we're guilty of it too. Oh, the tank's over, and there's no chance they get Bedard, and all boo. They have 2 more wins. They have 2 more wins than Anaheim. 2 wins. Like there's 56 games left.
Yeah.
Pump the brakes a little bit. Like there's a lot of hockey left. A lot of things can go up and down, and especially with trade deadline coming up, and people get hurt on both teams, and it's 2 wins. Like, just hang on. Like, let's not talk about the draft yet. Let's talk about a 2-game winning streak at the Mullett.
Sure.
And by the way, I'm going to go off on one more tangent since it's
Go
late.
for it.
Are we after dark yet? Oh, it's only 8:47.
The game on Tuesday doesn't even start until 8:30, Petey.
I know the puck drop will literally be now. What the hell am I supposed to do on Tuesday? People have been asking if I wore my winning socks.
Oh yeah, are you wearing socks?
Leah, I'm at home. Like, we're lucky
So?
if I'm wearing pants tonight. Like, socks, buddy, socks. So no, we're not showing my feet tonight. So that's no. I will do better. I will be better. I promise. I will be better, and I will remember to wear victory socks.
Was that your tangent?
Yeah, I just want to say it was
Oh,
separate
okay.
from the game. I wasn't talking hockey. I just forgot to
Oh,
wear my
okay.
victory socks.
All right.
And really 8:30 start? Like really?
Yeah, let's look ahead at the week coming up because it's kind of a tough one for a lot of reasons. First of all, we got that 8:30 start on Tuesday against San Jose, but then you have a back-to-back Friday, Saturday against the Islanders and the Buffalo Sabres. And then look at next week, 8 p.m., 8 p.m., 7:30 p.m. It's
That's an
like
8 p.m. home game?
yeah,
Wait,
against
what?
Montreal. And then
What?
Vegas comes to town. That's tough. LA. I mean, it just doesn't ever seem to get easier for the Coyotes, but they continue to impress us and find a way.
And let's look at this for real. Like we just talked about them getting off a 14-game road trip. They're going on the road. They get on a plane tomorrow. Tomorrow they're flying again. So they'll fly
Oh.
Monday and fly home Tuesday. They'll play a couple of games and they fly again next Tuesday. Like
Yeah.
can't this team catch a break?
I
Can't they be
know
home
they
for
need
like
they
10
need
days?
I know they need like a 5-game homestand or something. I'm so sorry, Coyotes.
I mean, I can't. The staff must be going out of their mind. They must go, "Oh goodness, we get to unpack and relax and see our families and have some home cooked meal." No, we're on a plane tomorrow. And while we were home for 72 hours, why don't we throw in 2 games and no sleep on the day you come home? Honestly, oh boy, howdy, this is
Boy, howdy.
tough. This is
Boy,
tough. It's really
howdy.
tough. And I'm complaining, covering it, and we're sitting in more furniture, drinking beer.
Yeah.
That's real tough.
Yeah.
But it's incredibly hard. And we're talking different time zones. And now they're going to jump to a different time zone, come home for 2 in this time zone or 3, and then go back out to the Pacific time zone and play Vegas again. So they have 2. It's hard. Like it's really hard. So I hope they can hang around. We'll see.
Yeah. Timothy said these start times are just mean for us East Coast Coyotes fans. Shout out to the East Coast Coyotes fans. Shout out to the Coyotes fans in the UK. I know you were out there. I've heard from you on Twitter, and I think I saw one in the chat earlier. Yeah. So seriously,
I'm complaining a mountain time probably not good.
Yeah, not great. Also, the great chat comment from Christopher. Got to take my 9-year-old niece to this game as her delayed birthday present. She had a blast. Said her favorite thing was being on the Jumbotron twice. We love to hear that, Christopher. That's awesome. And someone else here in our chat I know was at the game tonight was Charles, who said he bought his tickets on Game Time and got great seats. I mean, there's really not a bad seat in the Mullett, but when you buy on Game Time, you're guaranteed to get the cheapest price on tickets. By the way, if Sean calls out of work on Saturday because he's not feeling well, and then I see he's at the Sabres game,
we gotta watch the Jumbotron there.
Yeah,
for the
I'm gonna be
perusing
Game Time just to make sure he doesn't have tickets on the day of the
Sabres.
game. Yeah,
with his Danny Briere or Finneganov jersey, he's rocking the Finneganov. Oh boy.
Man. But if you do want to go to games, and I know we just talked about the fact that they're home away. They are home for a stretch here. So definitely check out Game Time to buy tickets to the game. Like I said, you can save up to 60% on those tickets when you buy them last minute. And the best way to support us is by using the link in our description below. So definitely check that out. And while you're in our description below, check out another link because we have a really exciting event coming up next month. It's the PHNX Tea party at Dobson Ranch Golf Course. We are on January 13th. We are renting out the entire we are renting out the entire driving range. Come hang out with the Big Drive Energy guys. They are from DNVR, by the way. Check them out. They have an amazing golf show if you're interested. The PHNX crew and fellow diehards for a night of golf, food, drinks, contests, prizes, and more. The PHNX Suns crew will be hosting a watch party for the Suns versus Timberwolves. And you can click on the link in the description to reserve your spot right now. And for the diehards, check Discord for your special link where you'll save 20% on this awesome event. So it's a great time to become a diehard because we've been promoting that you get 20% off on merchandise, 20% off on events. This is the first time you could really take advantage of that, and it is a great deal. And there's going to be so much stuff there, including food and games and contests. It's just going to be a blast. So come hang out with us on January 13th. I'm really looking forward to that one.
Are you a good golfer, Leah?
I'm not. I'm a terrible golfer. I'm very good at mini golf. I am very bad at any other type of golf.
Yeah, but they serve alcohol, so we'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, before we wrap up here, let's take a look at the punch card because the late spurt here on the
Wow.
end of this
Can
line.
we hit the 3+ wins?
I don't know. I mean, I definitely think they could beat San Jose on Tuesday, but we'll have to wait and see. We have one more game in line 3, and then we're on to the next one.
And I tell you what, as we looked at this thing before this week started, we were like, hopefully they can win in San Jose, because we didn't see any other wins, and we wanted to make sure they got a win in this row. And we were thinking maybe San Jose, and then what do? They beat the Boston Bruins and the Philadelphia Flyers. So
yep,
bring them on.
You
Let's
absolutely love to see it. LFG.
Well,
we will be back late Tuesday night for That's a Real PHNX Coyotes After Dark. And we know how the last 8:30 start postgame show went. If you were there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But join us then, because it's going to be a blast no matter what happens in the game. We always find a way to make it fun, as you know. So subscribe to PHNX Sports on YouTube. Hit the notification bell so you never miss when we go live. And also make sure you're subscribed to wherever you get your audio podcasts as well, because we have audio-only episodes that drop weekly. And while you're there, leave us a review as well. So before we head out, you can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Leah Merrill. Petey's at SPeters Hockey. He sent a tweet during the game today. He's getting better. You can follow Sean at Sean_DePaz. And you can follow Craig at Craig S. Morgan. And of course, follow PHNX_Coyotes on Twitter and share it with your friends who love hockey or live in Arizona or want to get into it. The Coyotes, they're a fun team to watch. They're making it fun. So we have a lot of fun talking about it. We have a lot of fun engaging with you in the chat. Everybody, thank you so much for your comments tonight. And we'll talk to everybody on Tuesday. Have a great rest of your night, everyone.